Hello and welcome back to CR Sim Racing, and for this week's video, something completely different. For the first time on the channel, we're going to try oval racing, so we've come to the Charlotte Motor Speedway for iRacing Street Stock Rookie Series. Now, several of you have been urging me to give this a try, so this seemed like the perfect week. There's been a few glitches in RaceRoom with the leaderboards, which has made making a video really difficult, and I don't own any of the paid combos in iRacing, so I thought, why not? Let's jump in and give it a try. Now, I'm a total newbie to oval racing, so I've decided against qualifying. I'm going to start from the back of the grid for my first race. So the plan very much is just to hang back, try to suss out what's going on ahead of us, try and find a rhythm, and then maybe pick up a few positions. Okay, so the pace car's gone in. We're just waiting for the lights to go green.
Green.
And they are green, but we're in no rush to try and get among this pack. We're just going to take it easy. We want to stay close to these guys, but not too close. We want to keep a bit of distance just in case there's any big pile up in the first corner. Just easing off the gas slightly there to open up a bit of breather room. There's already some contact. We saw some sparks fly between a couple of those cars ahead, but it looks like everybody has got through. There is one car on the infield, so we've gained one position. We've got a car on the outside, so we've gained 2 positions. So far so good then. We've got through the first half a lap unscathed, but I'll be brutally honest, from here on in I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. I mean, I'm okay at the moment because we're half a second behind Mark Vince ahead, but what do we do when we get closer? Do we try and make a pass straight away? Do we tuck in behind and just use the draft for a while? We're getting closer, so we're going to have to try and suss out what to do, but here is when things go wrong. Watch Vince in the green car and also Clink in the pink car. Vince first, he's going to hit the wall on the outside, but look at Clink, he's all out of shape and he's going to come spearing right across the track in front of us and absolutely poleaxes Vince. Our first very lucky escape. Yeah, it was certainly more by luck than judgment that we managed to avoid that. Look at Vince on the outside, rubbing the wall, but it's Kalink who's going to cause the damage, sliding right across in front of me, and that's a huge contact, T-boning Vince, and they're both out of the race, but somehow we haven't joined them. Let's take another look from my onboard. We can see just how close we came to having our race ended within 2 laps. Yeah, that's how close it was. No damage except to our underwear there. Back to the race then, and we're just about to cross the line to finish lap 2, and you'll see from the relative board down on the bottom right of the screen, we're up to 13th position, so we've gained a couple of places, and we're going to gain one more as we see a car scraping against the wall on the outside, and another one. And it looks like Lynn Eidson ahead just got off the gas, seeing those cars in trouble on the outside. That's going to give us an opportunity to get alongside. I think we've got to take it, so we're going to push up the inside, try and take another position. And yes, outside is clear, so we have got it. We've gained 3 places there, so we're up to 10th place. And in fact, we might gain another place looking at the relative board because one of the front runners is in the pits. Mario Medeiros was in that leading pack, but it's not anymore, and we're going to end lap 3 in 9th. And there's the confirmation from crew chief. Incredibly, we're holding a top 10 position on lap 4 of our first ever oval race. And there's a gap of more than 4 seconds to the nearest car ahead, so instead we're going to concentrate on Christian's speed behind. I'm going to stay on the inside line, but Christian's going to make a move around the outside. So I now know I've got to hold this inside line, but just as I get the alert that he's on the outside, I also get an alert that there's a slow car on the inside, so I don't really know what to do here. And in the end, I get caught out by just how slow that slow car was going. There's no way for me to get around him, and we plough into the back of him. And sadly, the car is now destroyed. It's undrivable.
The car is damaged. We've got to fix it.
So that was my first oval race, over after 5 laps, and to find the cause of the accident, we've actually got to go to the very front of the pack. This is the battle for the lead. Colton Alderman, the number 9, he's out front, but watch the number 4 in second place, Andre Dulin. There's contact with Alderman, he gets launched into the wall. 3rd and 4th place get involved as well, and even more cars piling in. In the end, about 7 or 8 were involved, and the only one of that leading pack to get through was Adam Rogers in 5th. Let's ride on board with him. At least one Rogers got through, but yeah, look at the absolute mayhem he left behind him. But the crucial involvement for us was the number 2 car of Ayrton Filippi. He was the car that we hit. Shortly after this instance, there's Felipe in the blue number 2, but he's going to rejoin rather than try and get repairs. Very down on speed, and by the time we get around, there's Speed on the outside of me. That put me off moving to the outside, so instead I tried to go for the inside, but I just caught up with Felipe too soon, and that's a big contact, and my car is toast. But anyway, I can't grumble about that incident. I've got no one to blame there but myself. I had plenty of warning that something big had gone down in front of me from crew chief. So I knew that there was a slow car on the inside. I also knew that Speed was to the outside of me, so that was off limits. So I really should have had my wits about me and just moved to the infield, taken the instant point and got around safely. But you know, it's always easy with hindsight. Anyway, we're back to the live action now. We've been into the pits for repairs and we've rejoined in 13th place. And as you can see, we're gaining on Lynn Eidson ahead. Now, we've already been trailing Lynn once in this race, and she left a big gap up the inside for me to pass quite easily last time. Now, Lynn in qualifying also decided against putting a time in, so I suspect she might be a rookie like me and is just taking it very easy. Nevertheless, I don't want to pull anything too aggressive, so I'm cautiously getting alongside Eidson here. We're side by side, and yes, once again, Eidson is happy to yield the position, so we've moved up to 12th. Now, there are only a couple of laps left in this race, but there's still more drama to come. Thankfully, not involving me this time, but once again, we're going to see the leader of this race launched into the wall. It's the number 17 of Tamas Samogi. He's out in front now. They're just about to catch up with a back marker, but it's not even going to be an issue because the white number 16 of Terry Woody is going to get a little bit too close. There's the contact. Race leader Samogi's into the wall. Then he collects Keegan Thompson in third, the number 5. They're both out, and Terry Woody is going to go on and win this race. Somehow Samogi managed to keep his car going. It looks undrivable, but he's just about going to get it back on the track and has enough power to limp home. And if we return to the live action, joining my cockpit, we'll see Samogi on the left-hand side. We're going to come up alongside him here. There he is. Now, it's going to make no difference to my final position whether we get around him or not. Remember, we've taken a pit stop, so we're a couple of laps down already, so I take it very easy. I can see that the car is in bad shape with all the sparks coming out of it, so we managed to get around, and we're going to bring it home. Our first ever oval rookie race in iRacing. We're going to take the checkered flag in 12th place. Who'd have thought driving around in circles was so difficult? That was tough.
A bit of schedule from testing. We'll get them next time.
Well, I don't know if I share your optimism there, crew chief, but we are going to give it another try. Now we've had some experience, we're even going to put in a qualifying lap, and look, we didn't do too badly. We qualified in 5th, so we're going to be starting from the 3rd row of this grid. So this race is going to present a whole new series of challenges for us, whereas in the first race, we were happy just to sit back right at the tail end of the grid and see what was going on. We're going to be right in the mix from the outset here, so we're really going to have our wits about us. Now, before the lights go green, I just want to quickly give a shout out to Downshift Esports. You'll notice I'm running their livery. Now, I don't know who Downshift Esports are, I'm afraid, but I spotted their livery on Trading Paints and it matches my colour scheme perfectly. I love the paint job, and I just want to apologise to Downshift Esports for trashing their livery so spectacularly in race 1. Hopefully, we'll get a bit better in race 2, but we're already going to get a little tap from behind. That unsettles me slightly. Now, I'm aware of the phrase bump draft in NASCAR, but I'm not sure whether that was it or not. But whatever it was, it did make me feel a little bit on edge seeing that green car right behind me. And as we enter the next bank corner, I was bracing myself for possibly happening again, but looking in the mirror, I breathe a sigh of relief when I see him get all out of shape and spin out onto the infield. He hasn't spun completely, but we've got a bit of fresh air behind us now, so that is making me feel a whole lot more relaxed.
Slow car download.
And another slow car warning from crew chief. I'm going to be a lot more cautious when I get those warnings in this race. Thankfully, on this occasion, the car wasn't on the racetrack. It was down on the infield, so we got past safely. He was a lap down though, so there's no position gain there. We're going to stay in 6th position, and we've got Hunter Dickey for company right behind. So once again, I'm going to take the inside line. I still don't feel comfortable running the car at speed out on the wide outside line. I just get a bit too worried when I get too close to the wall. So I prefer, whenever possible, just to stick to the inside until I get more familiar with these cars. So yeah, I'm happy to hug the inside line. If Hunter Dickey wants to make a move, he can by all means run alongside me on the outside. And it looks like he's sizing it up to do exactly that as we head out onto the back straight. And yes, he is. He's going to move alongside on the outside, Hunter. So, yeah, we're going to be side by side, too wide. And I just need to concentrate on keeping this car as tight to the inside as possible. I don't want to slide and drift into Hunter's line. So just to be safe, I eased off the gas slightly to keep the car stable. That gives Hunter an easy pass, but it also means we've got more company now from Ruben Vejo behind. And it looks like Ruben's already chosen my favoured inside line, and I'm not sure if I'm far enough ahead to close that gap and go back to it, so I stay out wide again, not feeling at all confident near that wall. So in the end I just let Ruben pass just so I can get around the corner safely without the panic of possibly grazing the wall and causing a massive wipeout. Oh, and as soon as I mention the word wipeout, look ahead, there's a car out of control. He slid right back into the racing line. We've got nowhere to go, and there's a huge contact. We almost roll it. We're airborne. We ended up bouncing off the perimeter fencing back onto the infield. I'm amazed we can still even drive the car, but it is severely damaged, and for the second race in a row, we're going to have to go back to the pits. Another oval disaster. Let's check out the replay, and just like in race 1, it's the battle for the lead that ends in carnage, only this time it's caused by the drivers in 2nd and 3rd place. Now the leader, Jake Corley, in the red Budweiser number 2, is really unlucky here because the 2 drivers behind him, Glenn and Braga, are going to touch not once but twice, and it's the second contact that pushes Glenn right into the path of Corley, the leader, and then after that it's complete carnage. There are cars going off everywhere. Hunter Dickey passed me just a few corners earlier. Now he ploughed into this melee, and from there on there's nowhere for me or the number 1 car of Ruben Vejo to go. Oh, and Hunter Dickey gets one more punt for good measure, as if he hadn't suffered enough. Right, let's check out the replay again. We're focusing on me now, and yeah, by that point I couldn't do anything to avoid that. We get launched up into the safety railing, and from then on we're just simply a passenger. But I tell you what, if I'm going to carry on with oval racing, I really need to work on my anticipation and my reaction times, because this is a whole nother level. Okay, so back to the pits we went to get some repairs. Then I almost managed to reverse out of my pit box by mistake. We corrected that mistake, but you know what? I think we've still got time for one more blunder before we finish this video. Let's see what we can manage. And sadly it won't take me long to get flustered, because we're exiting the pits and we get presented with a car really down on pace, presumably damaged, in front of us. Now I don't know what to do. Can I go around him? I do go around him on the outside, but I just go across that blue line, and I'm guessing that's going to give me a penalty. Sure enough, there we go. It's an unsafe exit, so we're going to have to go right back into the pits. So after another pit stop, we finally rejoined in 16th place, and actually we ended up rejoining right behind the guy in 14th. However, he was a lap ahead, and I was a bit reluctant to make a move. I don't know what the etiquette is when it comes to unlapping yourself in oval racing. A couple of times I had the opportunity to make a sniff up the inside, but as you can see, I didn't want to try anything too forceful, so I just kept backing out. And it was a little bit of a shame, because the driver in 15th, who I could have chased to battle for an extra position, he wasn't that far ahead. But yeah, with me stuck behind these cars, that battle was never going to happen. Now if you take a glance to first the rear view mirror and then the relative board at the bottom right of the screen, you'll see that I've got another worry now. The leaders are closing in fast, and it looks like a really close battle for first and second. They're side by side, so the last thing I want to do is get involved with this. So I want to try and open up enough space that they can get by safely. Once again, my lack of oval experience here is glaring. I just don't know the etiquette, what to do or how to behave when you've got leaders coming up behind you. So in the end, I go right up to the outside where I don't like to be, and that's exactly the reason why I don't like to be there, because I always end up scraping the wall. Thankfully, it didn't cause me to crash and slide back into the leading duo. I think I would have never been welcome back on iRacing again had I done that. But yeah, we damaged the car again there, but with only a couple of laps to go. There we go, just 2 laps to go from crew chief. It doesn't seem much point in going back to the pits to have this repair done. We're still drivable. We're not going to gain any positions. We're going to bring it home in 16th place. We'll bring home a very battered car. As you can see, it's really difficult to control now. Once again, I've completely trashed a downshift esports paint job. Sorry, boys. So there we have it, my first ever experience in oval racing on iRacing. You asked for it and you got it, and it wasn't pretty. After these two experiences, I just can't see how it's at all possible to avoid wrecks in front of you, so credit to the guys who manage it, because I really don't know how it's done. And if you've enjoyed seeing me suffer, then please do remember to leave a like and consider subscribing if you haven't done already. Thanks again for watching, guys. Cheers.